There needs to be a short-term strategy and a long-term strategy. I hired a person out of Harvard, a woman by the name of Dr. Still, who wrote a book that said Murder is Preventable. And she talked about framing it in the context of public health. You know, in 1964, we had the Surgeon General report about cigarettes. And basically, it was attempting to change people's behavior. What has never happened in this city is a long-term, sustainable effort. Just look at it for yourself. Start, we stop, we start, we stop. So we never had a long-term, sustainable effort in making it a problem that we could beat. Secondly, the police department needs to be modernized, police force needs to be increased, and there needs to be a different kind of leadership. Now I said, different than anybody else, I said that John Timothy, I got elected, would become the police commissioner. I want you to understand why I said that. I said that because of his experience as deputy police commissioner in New York, his experience as police commissioner in Philadelphia, and his experience as police commissioner in Miami. And my sense was that there was no one who had that type of experience coming out of the department who could provide that kind of leadership. See, you need a leader and you need a manager. You need a leader and you need a manager. The mayor has to support the police commissioner. The mayor has to support the police commissioner. What takes place with this police commissioner, not that he's a bad person, but the fact of the matter is when the police commissioner asks for 500 additional officers and the mayor says, we're going to do overtime, now, how are you going to hold the police commissioner accountable when the mayor is saying we're going to do overtime and the police saying we need more people on the street?
Will John Timoney come here? Did you ask him?
If Dwight becomes mayor, he'll come here. So my point is this. We need to have a strategy of a public health strategy connected to a criminal justice. And I want to say to my good friend here, because I let him get away with last time up at Mount Airy, I let him get away with a statement he made about this military kind of approach that he thought for some reason that, I said, look, the military in itself will never solve this problem. I'm very clear about that. The ultimate answer to this is education. But you got to do both. Because when 911 calls, you can't have a dollar prayer when 911 calls. Somebody got to show up. Somebody got to show up. The number one responsibility of local government is to make sure the citizens are safe. Have not we learned anything from 9/11? If government cannot provide safety and security to its citizens, why do you think there's the addition of all the guns that are on the street? Now, do we need to change gun policies in Harrisburg? Yes. We need to limit the sales. We need to give the city its authority back. We need to have ballistic fingerprinting. We need to do those things. And I would argue Harrisburg is out of touch. I'm trying to change that. So yes, we must do something with policing. We must do something with public health. We must do something around leadership. We gotta do a number of things, but we gotta say that this problem is beatable. We can reverse this problem. This problem can be reversed. But we have an attitude in our political process of one of almost just giving up. And then the other thing is, we can't have the district attorney and the mayor with name calling in the newspaper. That is counterproductive. That is counterproductive. You can't have people who are calling themselves adults, no matter if you agree or disagree. Now, I disagree when the mayor and Paul Vallis got into the debate. You know, those of us in public office need to understand a little bit about civility. We want kids to act different, but as adults, we have to act differently. We have to act differently. Adults watch, kids watch what we do. So in this politics stuff, and I know it gets a little rough and tumble, and I know, you know, we want to win. But you know the name of this game is called governing. You want to win to govern. You don't want to destroy the ability to govern. That means you got to get along with everybody. Now, I believe in addition, not subtraction. I'm a big tent theory. Everybody got a little room on the tent for me. Everybody come on in. Even if you disagree, we work together. The next person who becomes mayor of this city, which I hope is myself, you got to understand, you got to bring people together. And that's not to say we're not going to disagree, but we got to work together. Crime can be reduced. I'm telling you that. Now, you can't measure it anyway until I get elected.